We're saved. All right, cool. Overwatch 2 retail patch notes, February 7th, 2023. I'm going to pause alerts for the meantime. Okay. Overwatch 2 Season 3. Drop into Season 3 and explore new depths of the coolest control map, Antarctic Peninsula. I've seen it. I just haven't really played it. I technically could have played it, but I've been really, really busy the last few days. So I just hopped in, looked at the penguins, and was like, this is really cool. And then hopped out. That's why I didn't have any videos or anything on it today. Complete and limited time in-game events, such as Ultimate Valentine, customize your heroes with new skins and cosmetics in the Battle Pass and weekly shop drops. Now earn credits in the Battle Pass that can be redeemed for over 250 cosmetics from the original Overwatch and go premium to get exclusive rewards such as the mythic Amaterasu Kiriko. New map, Arctic Peninsula. New feature, Streamer Protect. Players can now activate Streamer Protect options in their game settings. These options will provide players with many ways to hide identifying information when live streaming matches. I still don't think this is really that great. It's something, but it's only client side. That's really not that helpful. But hey, better than nothing. General updates, improved subtitles, added mouse cursor, custom for group up alerts. We saw a lot of this in the blog posts that we read before this. Added challenges to unlock silhouette player icons. Added tracking for each roles for the weekly role mastery challenge. Added Ramattra unlock challenges. Partial progress through the Season 3 Battle Pass is now carried over to the Wins for Ramattra challenge. Wait. Partial progress through the Season 3 Battle Pass is now carried over to the Wins for Ramattra challenge. Interesting. Endorsements, player can now endorse the opposing team. All players can now be endorsed in free-for-all game modes. Game report players can view scoreboards from previous matches in the View Games report. That's awesome. That could be somewhat useful for spectating. Things to think about. Mystery Hero changes. Mystery Heroes now limits each team to a maximum of 3 of each role. Your Reinhardt Mystery Heroes, your team also includes Mercy, Ana, and Lucio. When you die, you cannot respawn as a support hero. You'll either be a damage or a tank hero. This new maximum role limit can be changed in the custom game settings. This setting only functions when the respawn as a hero or as a random hero setting is enabled. Overwatch credits are back. Overwatch credits are when previously labeled legacy credits and are not earnable in Overwatch 2 can now once again be earned through progressing the Season 3 Battle Pass. All players can earn up to 1,500 credits as free rewards and an extra 500 credits available as premium rewards. Credits can be spent in the Hero Gallery, which contain nearly all of the epic and legendary skins released prior to the launch of Overwatch 2. This includes many skins you were previously only available for purchase with coins in the Just For You section of our shop. Ping system update, pressing ability 1 or 2 when pinging wheel is open. And when those abilities are on cooldown, now prints these cooldowns in chat. Example, if Baptiste's Immortality Field is on cooldown and you press the key/button to activate the ability while the ping wheel is open, the cooldown for the ability will be printed in chat. That's awesome. Competitive play, skill tier divisions will adjust after every 5 wins or 15 losses and ties. Formally 7 wins and 20 losses and ties. Players can select the View Competitive Progress button from the competitive menu to view their progress towards receiving a ranked update. That's awesome. Workshop is back. Workshop moderation tools. Added new menu options for reporting a player to give more ways to report inappropriate behavior. So action can be taken in a timely manner, including communication, name, cheating, gameplay sabotage, inappropriate custom content, hero updates, the juice. Maximum ult charge retained when swapping heroes reduced from 30 to 25. That's not a big change, but developer comment, as part of this patch, we are a tuning path for how often ultimate abilities are being generated. So expect to see several ultimate cost adjustments across multiple heroes. The tank role passive, the health totals for all tank heroes will be lower when playing any game mode that does not have a role queue. Health totals will remain the same for tanks when playing any role queue enabled game. So this means for open queue mystery heroes / arcade. So No more Roadhog dominating an arcade. Developer comments. This change to the tank HP pools helps address the relative power of these heroes in game modes where they can be multiple of them on the same team. Now the actual changes. Tank. Diva, mech base health and roll queue modes remains the same at 350. Health in non-roll queue modes reduced from 350 to 200. That's not a change. That is just Diva getting transitioned to the new format. So no Diva changes. Doomfist, same thing. No Doomfist changes. It's just he will in roll QB or in non-roll QB 300 health. Junker Queen though does get a change. Base health and roll Q modes increased to 450. Developer comments, the overall base health for Junker Queen is increased by 25 HP. Junker Queen got a 25 HP buff. She definitely needed it. Definitely needed it. A little bit of her survivability. Her survivability has been much better since the last patch, but she still was behind most of the tanks ever since they nerfed her shout. So good change. Orisa, the health is still the same. That's not changed. It's the same thing for roll Q. It's talking about non-roll Q, but there is an Orisa change, and that's the fusion driver. Damage fall off range has been reduced from 25 to 15, so it's been restored to what it was before the buffs in early December to counter Hog. I actually don't think Orisa needed this. I think Orisa is a lot weaker than people think now. She's just unkillable. She just sits there and just like, but they even nerfed her Fortify slightly. I think this kind of is nail in the coffin for Orisa. I think that Rein takes over again and is better. I think Ramattra takes over and is better. Winston's instantly more viable because Roadhog's not as good or not that good anymore. This could even, I don't know about Junker Queen. Junker Queen I'm not sold on, but Ball is, we'll get to more changes here. Ramatra's big change is his annihilation. Health is the same. Damaging enemies with the ultimate now slows the duration of the timer. Instead of pausing it entirely, lasts up to 20 seconds, and the ultimate increased by 12. That's massive. You used to get ult so fast with Ramattra, so not only is it increased, which means you're going to get it less frequently, but also it says up to 20 seconds. So it will last 20 seconds if you stay in the field the entire time and don't run away. There's a 3-second timer that still ticks. So if you're in it, it will slowly work its way down. If you don't ever leave the entire time, it'll last 20 seconds. But let's say you break its LOS for a second and a half, then all of a sudden it's probably 10 seconds maximum lasting. Because it's still based off the same timer. It just slows the timer down. So the maximum is 20 seconds. But if you break it for any significant amount of time, you can chunk this down by 7+ seconds easily. Developer comments, the idea of an ultimate ability potentially lasting forever is an exciting concept, but the reality is that if it's too easy to do, it might cause a lot of frustrations with Ramatra's ultimate in particular, an excessive amount of visual noise. We're limiting the maximum duration to 20 seconds, which is still highly impactful for most team fights, but it guarantees it'll end in a reasonable amount of time. You mean I can't win multiple fights with the same ult? Sag. It's okay. It's a good change. Reinhardt got some pretty big changes, to be honest with you. Health is still the same, but charge has been reduced from 8 to 7 seconds. Fire Strike increased from 90 to 100, which brings back the window Fire Strike combo with Baptiste. And also, if you double hit a squishy with 2 Fire Strikes, you will kill them as long as they don't get healed now. So that pesky Hanzo who's just out of range, you don't have to pin over to him. You can just hit him with 2 Fire Strikes and call it a day. Which has been really fun for me because recently I've been sniping Pharahs a lot. And being able to double tap a Pharah sounds awesome. Earth Shatter. This is a big one. Earth Shatter's direct damage has been reduced from 250 to 170. If you don't remember, the 250 change was originally my change back during the experimental tournament. We were asked to make like a goofy April the Fool's type patch, and I made it do 400 damage during that. And then they liked the one tap of it, so they kept it as a 250 shot, but now it's been reduced to 170. I don't even know why I even keep it at this point. Like, you know, I'd rather trade all the damage it does, like put it back to normal for 3-second Shatter, to be honest with you. But Shatter did get a buff, though. Knockdown duration increased from 2.5 to 2.75 seconds, which is not quite what it was in Overwatch 1, but it's in the middle. it is enough, in my opinion, to pretty much kill anyone that's shattered unless they're at max range, in which if they are at max range, keep both of your fire strikes. You can double fire strike anybody and kill them before they can finish standing up. So my own personal experience using this, shatter, fire strike, you'll pretty much kill all the squishies, which is kind of hilarious. Ultimate cost increased by 7%. I'm not crazy about that change, but the increased fire strike damage should technically make up for this because you're doing more damage. Rocket Hammer, this one's very interesting. Impulse reduced from 10 to 6, which basically means like every so often, if you were swinging at somebody and they jumped, they sometimes got booped away, and it was harder to hit them on the next swing. That reduces that more. So it's going to be harder to run away from a Reinhardt who's swinging on you. Developer comments, in similar fashion to Roadhog's chain hook combo changes last season, we generally like to avoid heroes in the tank role from killing enemies in one shot. Earth Shadow's direct damage is being reduced with that goal in mind. In most cases, targets on the receiving end would die anyways during the knockdown stun, but it does open up some potential for their allies to intervene. Honestly, get rid of the damage, put it back to normal damage, and give it 3 seconds, and you're good to go. For now, we're fine with Charge Pin staying lethal to many characters due to the difficulty and risk involved. The Fire Strike damage increase does not mean it could... Sorry, it does mean it could once again one-shot when comboed with Baptiste's Amplification Matrix, but that requires an ultimate combo with another hero. We'll see how it plays out and adjust if necessary. The Rocket Hammer knockback reduction sounds like a loss of power, though it actually aims to reduce the number of times Reinhardt accidentally knocks enemies out of his melee range. So, honestly, good stuff, to be honest with you. Actually, good Reinhardt changes. I think Rein already was starting to become low-key pretty good at the end of Season 2 with Orisa and Hog nerfed, but I think Rein could be... I think Rein's going to be meta from Bronze to Diamond / maybe Masters, and then GM will be... I'll show you in a minute. Roadhog. His health is the same. Whole Hog is getting a buff. Maximum duration increased from 6 to 8 seconds, and the ultimate cost is increased by 8 seconds. Allowing Roadhog to use abilities during his ultimate made it much more reliable in a solo tank environment, though doing so was so often much like canceling the ultimate as it just ran out of time. We're adding a couple seconds to the maximum duration to increase the flexibility of player choice during the Whole Hog ultimate, but we'll keep an eye if it's simply too much damage or knockback overall. Oh boy, you're just playing Hog now, it's just going to be ult farm bot. That's hilarious. Sigma gets a small nerf, where his ult is increased by 7, or his ult cost is increased by 7%. Winston receives a nerf where his barrier goes from 700 health to 650 health. Wrecking Ball gets some massive changes. This is what I actually think will be the high-level GM tank. Base health and roll Q is the same. It is technically changed. It is technically changed, but here's why. Base health and roll Q reduced from 600 to 450, right? Base health in non-roll Q games is reduced from 600 to 300. That doesn't matter. The big one, though, is the 600 to 450. Because they then give him back the 150 in shields. So your health is 450, then 100 armor, then 150 shield. The reason why that's a big change is because shields regenerate on their own in their top level health. So if you get to about half health on ball and run away to a health pack, grab the health pack, you don't even have to get back to full health. The health pack will give you enough that by the time you roll back, your shields are actually going to be re-healed as well, and you'll be full HP. So you're not going to have to grab 2 health packs as ball anymore. If you're low, you pretty much only have to ever grab 1 health pack now, which is a massive change to making ball a lot more viable. And there's another couple changes in here that I think make ball even stronger. Not just his changes, but to other characters, and I'll show you in a minute. Pile Driver. Cooldown reduced from 10 to 8 seconds. That's just a straight buff. And Minefield's cost increased by 9%, but the arming time has been reduced from 1.5 to 1 second. This basically means if you do the mine pile drive slam, you're dead. Like, you just kill whoever's in it. So, Ball is getting the buffs that everyone said, oh, Ball needs buffs. You don't understand what you've asked for. I'm telling you. I've been telling people this for months. Ball is low-key really good, just outshined by other things. Same thing when everyone says Brig needs buffs. No, they don't. Developer comments, Wrecking Ball receives some of the fewest changes in the transition to 5v5 as he proved to be one of the most effective solo tanks in early testing. His extreme mobility and massive health pool enable him to choose when to fight much more freely than other heroes. These changes are aimed at reducing his downtime so he can press that advantage even further. The regenerating shield health pool often leads to not needing to search as many health packs before getting back in position. Zarya gets a small nerf, ultimate charge cost increased by 8%. Moving on to the damage roll, Cassidy, combat roll. Movement is no longer blocked by enemy player collision. So if you try to body block a Cassidy, they can roll through you now, much like how Sojourn Slide works. Peacekeeper, so his normal gun, primary fire fall-off range increased from 20 to 25 meters. This means it's going to be better at range. Combat roll not being blocked by players is mostly a small quality of life change to make the ability feel smoother, particularly when rolling in direction that you're not facing. This is probably in fear of Pharah Mercy being stronger because of Tank Mercy. We'll get to Tank Mercy in a minute. Junkrat, Concussion Mine, maximum damage reduced from 120 to 100. As Concussion Mine already has damage fall off the further from the explosion the enemy is, lowering the maximum damage will require Junkrat to be slightly more accurate to achieve the same lethality with some of his combos. Pretty big Junkrat nerf. You could still technically one-tap, but you need to be a lot more accurate and pretty close with it. Mei gets a small buff of ultimate costing 5% less. Pharah gets a small buff of ultimate costing 5% less. Reaper gets a small buff of ult costing 8% less. Soldier gets a pretty big buff. His health or heavy pulse rifle number of shots to reach maximum recoil increased from 4 to 6, and his recoil overall has been reduced by 12%, making Soldier a lot more accurate. This is more of an adjustment for the gun's fields rather than strictly to add power, but it does have an effect on both. It makes the weapon handle more similar to the original version in which you can burst fire more accurately before the recoil kicks in. This is the other one I think that makes Ball pretty good. Sombra, machine pistol damage increased, projectile increased from 7 to 7.5, a straight damage buff, as well as health pack duration increased from 30 to 45 seconds. If Ball is hard meta, Sombra Tracer will likely follow. Being able to hack a single health pack or a mega health pack for your Ball to dominate, and the Ball only needs it once, I think Zen Brig, potentially Zen Brig, Sombra Tracer Ball just goes absolutely bonkers. Sombra is an underperforming as after her last round of changes. While we make progress on a small rework for her abilities, this damage increase will help strengthen Sombra even against targets that aren't affected by her hack effect. It's a small increase per projectile, but it adds up quickly due to her fast fire rate. The health pack duration increase is a minor buff to avoid needing to rehack them quite so often. Sim got a small nerf of her ultimate costing 10% more. Torb turret gets nerfed in health reduced from 250 to 225. With the move to 5v5 and one less player to shoot at, Torbjorn's turret tends to survive longer than ever. We're reducing the health slightly to help it feel less like a sixth player and easier to deal with once someone turns their attention to it. So the best player is finally getting nerfed. Good riddance. Widowmaker base health reduced from 200 to 175. We experimented with Widow at 200 health for a while due to concerns that the increased power of tanks made her too vulnerable to them. Ultimately, she gained more advantages from 5v5 than she loses, so we're returning her back to 175 to better enable her more heroes to contest her lethal ranged capabilities. AKA Ball is going to be a lot better. Ball go burr on Widow. Next up on support. Support's all got some changes. Ana gets this change with her biotic grenade effect duration reduced from 4 to 3.5 seconds. Very small nerf. Originally, it was 3 seconds before the December change. So this is a middle ground between the 3 to 4 second change. Back when Roadhog was too strong, I guess they probably feel that it's still good to have strong, but maybe it was slightly too strong. So I'm okay with it. Brig Repair Pack. Healing over time reduced from 55 to 50 per second. However, applying a Repair Pack now instantly heals for 25 health on impact. This gives it burst healing, but slightly less healing over time. Which technically is more, though, because it's giving more per second. Sorry, it's giving less per second, but it gives a burst, so it's technically better. Rally costs reduced by 10%, so she'll have her ultimate 10% faster. Dev comment, Repair Pack having a small amount of instant healing will help Brig have more agency in saving an injured ally and generally makes the ability feel more responsive and impactful. So Brig got buffed. Good luck. Lucio, Psalm Barrier, ultimate cost reduced by 7%. So that's a small net buff. Mercy. Okay, let's talk about this. Mercy got some insane changes. Some people say it's a buff. Some people say it's a nerf. Most of the high-level Mercy players that I heard absolutely hate these changes, but I'm not a Mercy player, so I'm not really one to speak on it. I'll let others talk about whether it's good or not. Guardian Angel, cooldown reduced from 1.5 to 2.5, or sorry, increased from 1.5 to 2.5 seconds. A massive nerf to her movement. Holding the backwards directional input and canceling the ability with jump now moves 20% slower. So basically, Guardian Angeling backwards is 20% slower. That really is just a stupid change because all the good Mercy players now have to 180 and then just W key. So then that way you don't get the 20% movement reduction. And I guess technically makes her a little bit harder to play. Concatus Staff, healing per second reduced from 55 to 45. So Mercy's healing per second is going from 55 to 45 per second. However, healing is increased by 50% for allies under half health. So if an ally is under half health, they will do 50% of 45 healing, as well as Valkyries. So Valk is 60 healing per second, and when you pop Valk and an ally is under 50% health, it will do 90 healing per second. But that's not all. Regeneration passive has been removed and replaced with a new passive called Sympathetic Recovery. Mercy heals herself for 25% of healing done with Concatus Staff. So let's hear their comments on this. Developer comments, replacing Mercy's regenerative passive with a more interesting interaction was something we wanted to do after all support heroes gained a similar version of it through their role passive. For Concatus Staff change, this will empower Mercy even more as a triage healer and enable her to more often save low health allies. This overall time it takes to heal a 200 health hero from 1 HP is about the same as before. For Guardian Angel, the cooldown increase is necessary to reduce her greatly increased mobility resulting from the recent rework to the jump cancel. It enables Mercy to quickly launch herself long distances in any direction and may be overly evasive for such a short downtime. Let me show you really fast from CarQ. I hope he doesn't mind me yoinking this. The Mercy change. From what I heard, is in Valk, if it's right at the perfect scenario where everybody's taking damage and the tank specifically is below 50% HP, Mercy can tank a visor.
Tanking and body blocking, and since you self-heal 25% of the damage done, watch this clip. So fellow creator Neandra is demonstrating the power of Valkyrie's multi-healing under half HP teammates and tanking Bob. Remember that Valkyrie healing under half is 90 HP per second, and then Mercy will self-heal 25% of that, so that's 22.5 HP self-healing per teammate. So you can tank Bob's 100 plus DPS.
In perfect scenarios, you can actually tank a legitimate soldier visor, apparently. So that's potentially very scary. But also really nerfs the fun part of Mercy. So I'm not a Mercy player, so I'm not a specialist to speak on this. But from what I've read and seen from other players, they do not like these changes at all. Next up is Moira. Ultimate cost reduced by 5%. Zenyatta, Orb of Destruction, ammo increased from 20 to 25. This is just a quality of life. We've been discussing options to potentially increase Zen's survivability. We've seen previously in the beta that Zenyatta is somewhat on a knife's edge for balance. Even just 25 more shield health pushed him into the overpowered must-pick territory at the pro level. To balance his powerful damage output, the lack of mobility is an intentional disadvantage by design, so we prefer not to change that too much. Instead, we're adding more ammo to lengthen the time between when Zenyatta is most vulnerable, which is when he is loading. Next up is Season 3 map pools. Same push maps with obviously some changes to morning, evening, and night. I'm not going to read through them all. I'll let you just pause and look if you want to. Obviously, the new one is the Antarctic change. But there are some new maps that are coming back, which is a good thing. Numbani is back, which is a big W. Numbani's been gone for a long time. This is the first time Numbani will actually be seen in Overwatch 2. There's probably players out there that have never even played Numbani. And I might have to make a guide on how to attack Numbani because people don't understand how to play the map. Havana will also be making its first appearance in Overwatch 2 in Season 3. What else? I think those are the only ones, right? Okay, those are the only two that are big. There are some other changes as well as like maps shifting in and out, but those are the two big ones because those have not been in at all. So Havana and Numbani are in. Ping system got a bunch of changes. I'm not going to read through all these because there's a lot of them. Let's see if there's any in here that are really important. Fix a bug with Anna's owl skin missing her eye patch. That must have been terrifying. The Genji attack animation smoother. I wonder if that means his his skin that looks like it's 30 FPS. Fix an issue where Coalescence was not benefiting from Kitsune Rush. Really? Oh my god. Let me see. Yeah, I think that looks like it's pretty much all the big changes. There's some small bug issues that got fixed, but yeah, overall, I think it's probably gonna be a Rein meta for bronze to diamond, maybe masters, and then high level play. It's gonna be ball, maybe Sombra Tracer type of deal, which is gonna be kind of insane. But what do you guys think? I will say, whether you agree with these changes or not, this is what I like to see. I like to see these big sweeping changes to changing the game and making sure that it feels new and feels fresh. It's not Sojourn running around one-tapping everyone all over. But, hey, some good stuff. Whether you would like the changes or not, I like that they're being aggressive. Which is good.